Hello everyone, welcome to MedMastery Hub. So today in this video, you will be learning about the basic types of research and just an overview about the research methodologies. So first we can know what is meant by research. So this definition, it is set by as a standard definition for a research. It is a process of systematic inquiry that entails collection of data, documentation of critical information, analysis or interpretation of that data in accordance with suitable methodologies set by specific professional fields and academic disciplines. So research, it is considered as a process of systematic inquiry. So this is a process of a systematic type of investigation. So systematic, it means there are several steps that is already identified and we have to follow all those steps in order to conduct a research. So it is a process of systematic inquiry that is entailing collection of data. So the first purpose of research is to collect data. So first is a collection of data, then we are going to document that critical information. So the second step is documentation of critical information. Then we are going to analysis or interpretation of that collected data in accordance with suitable methodologies that is set by specific professional fields and academic disciplines. So we are going to collect the data, then we are going to document of this critical information, then we are analyzing or interpreting this data according to the suitable methodologies. So these suitable methodologies or standardized techniques are already set by specific professional fields and academic disciplines. So this is our basic definition of what a research is. Now an overview of research. A research is a way to gather data, that is to answer a problem or a topic that has already been identified. So we are using this research to answer a problem. So a problem or a topic has already been identified in the society. Now we have to find an answer to this problem. So we are conducting this through a research. So this requires developing an hypothesis. And hypothesis is an explanation to the problem that is derived from past knowledge or study. So these topics of hypothesis, variable, everything will be dealt later in the following videos. So the scientific research is a way to gather data to answer a problem or a topic that has already been identified. And we need to study how altering conditions can affect the outcomes. So this is an overview of what a research is. Our next session is just an overview about the types of research. So this session or this video, it is a main purpose is to give you such a clear-cut idea of what a research is and what are the types of research. So the explanation for each and every type of research will be following in the other videos. First is basic or fundamental type of research. It is understanding something without having any immediate use in the real world. So this is just a basic type of research that almost all of the college students will be doing. So we are understanding something or we are understanding about a topic without having any immediate use in the reality or in the real world. For example, understanding something. For example, we can look at understanding an organism's genetic code to understand how the policies are passing down through the generations. So this can be done by using a basic or a fundamental type of research. Next one is the applied research. So we are making use of this understanding from our fundamental research to solve the real world crisis or meeting particular requirements. So this means that we will be getting some basic understanding from our basic or fundamental research. So we are making use of that information from the basic research to solve a real world issue or meeting a particular requirements in the real world. For example, we know how we have understood how a genetic code, organism's genetic code is passing down through its generations. So by understanding that, we can create a medication for illness that is based on this genetic research. So this is an example for an applied type of research. Next is qualitative research. Qualitative research, it employs non-numerical data like surveys, interviews and case studies to understand people's opinion, meaning, experiences and perspectives. So in qualitative type of study, we will not be using any numerical type of data. Instead, we focus on understanding how a person is feeling or what are the people's opinion or what are their kinds of meanings, their experiences and perspectives. For example, it aims in understanding or finding a solution for these problems in the society by understanding what people have to say. For example, interviewing members of a community to understand their experiences on an issue. So this is an example of qualitative type of research. As the name suggests, we are looking forward to understand the quality of a problem. That is, it is a non-numerical type of analysis. Next is quantitative type of research. So quantitative, it is gathering numerical data to understand trends, connections or patterns. So they will be using statistical analysis will be done because they will be collecting numerical kinds of data. For example, data for statistical analysis. Next is experimental. In experimental type of research, we will be using controlled settings and exacting protocols to manipulate the variables and understand the cause and effect relationship. So in experimental type of research, we use controlled settings and we will be exacting the protocols. Protocols are certain set of standardized testings or procedures that we have to follow. So we are going to manipulate the variables. We are going to alter the variables and we can select whatever variables we like, and we are going to understand a cause and effect relationship. So this is purely experimental. Next is descriptive. So in descriptive, we are going to characterize the populations or phenomenon's feature without changing them. So in experimental kind of data, we were conducting an experiment using control settings and certain protocols, and we are going to manipulate the variables. But in descriptive kind of research, we will be characterizing our populations without changing them. That is, we will be just be observing whatever we have got without manipulating or without doing any changes to those variables. Next is analytical type of research. So it is examining data to determine the cause, correlations and trends between the variables. So in analytical type of data, we will be collecting this data from whatever experimentations we have got, and then we will be analyzing those results and we will get into a conclusion by examining data, and it helps us to determine the cause, correlations and trends between variables. It expands on pre-existing data. For example, examining patterns in climate data to investigate how the temperature variations are affecting the ecosystem. So this is an example of analytical type of research. Next is correlational. So a correlational, as the name suggests, it is going to find out the relation between two or more variables. So to ascertain whether there is a correlation between two or more variables. So here the cause and effect is not established, only the relation between the two variables. So it is not saying that because of variable 1, variable 2 is increasing. It is just saying that there is some relationship between these two variables. For example, tobacco smoking and mental health. So we are not going to say that when a person is having increased intake of tobacco, their mental health is also decreasing. We are not saying like that. Their mental health can also decrease due to various other factors and not only because of tobacco. So this kind of study is known as correlational type of research. Next is exploratory research. Exploratory means we are exploring into something that is not known. So this type of research is used when a knowledge on a subject is lacking. It seeks to investigate and support trends, concepts or problems that can inspire more study. So for example, how recently identified chemicals are impacting human cells and determine their health impacts. So this is an example of exploratory study. Next is historical study, historical kind of research. So it is concentrating on examining historical phenomena to understand its origin, its consequence and its relevance today. So in historical type of research, we are going to understand about any historical phenomena and we are going to understand about its origin, its consequence and its relevance in the real world now. For example, we can also take about an example of an old disease that has an outbreak today. So it is a pandemic today, but it was already found out many years before. So this can be taken up as a historical type of research. Next is a case study. A case study is a comprehensive analysis of a single topic, occasion, or group to obtain in depth knowledge. So, in case study, we will be taking a single case or a group of people will be taken. So, we will be analyzing a single topic, a single occasion, or a group of people to obtain in depth knowledge of that specific case. For example, analyzing results of a particular medical procedure. So in this research, we will be only taking a single medical procedure will be taken, and we will be studying and we will be obtaining more information from that case study. Next is laboratory or field type of research. This is collecting data from a natural setting and avoiding any control settings such as labs. So earlier in experimental type of setting, we will be using controlled settings and certain protocols. But in field type of research or in field study, we will be collecting data from the natural settings only. We will not be making any changes to any variable. We will just observe how people are reacting in the natural environment, how the problem is in the reality world, and we will be collecting the data. For example, observing and documenting wildlife activities in their native environments. So this is known as a field, laboratory, or a simulation type of research. Next is cross-sectional research. It is analyzing data over a brief period of time or at a single point in time to identify the relationship between factors without the need to observe them for a long period of time. So in cross-sectional type of research, we will be only studying this population for a limited or a single or a brief period of time. We will be analyzing this data over a brief period of time at a single point, and we will not be continuing this research again in the further time. So this is done to identify relation between factors without the need to observe them for a longer period. For example, we are surveying the population about their health at a particular year. So say year 2024. So we will be only calculating their or assessing their health impacts only in that particular year. So we will not be continuing this study in 2025. So this is an example of cross-sectional study. Next is longitudinal. So if we are conducting a longitudinal study, we can take the earlier example, so health impacts in 2024. So we will be continuing this study again in 2025, again in 2026. So we will be continuing this for a longer period, tracking changes over time by observing the same group of people over an extended length of time. For example, monitoring children's cognitive growth over a number of years. So this is an example of longitudinal type of research. This understanding of various types of research is essential for selecting an appropriate method of study for our research. So when we are able to understand what different types of research mean, whenever we go to find out a research problem or a research question, we can analyze which type of method will be efficient for studying this type of study. So this is a basic outline of what a research is and the types of research. So this is all about this topic. If you are having any further doubts, you can just comment below and I will be reaching out to you. And if you are also having any type of other questions, you could just mail them and I will be replying them back to you as early as possible. So thank you for watching.